welcome back to our podcast, My Sisters TBR. I'm Stacy.
And I'm Rebecca. We're two sisters co-hosting a bookish podcast where we'll be talking about our past, current, and future reads.
And trying to keep everybody up to date on the book world. Speaking of the book world.
Oh.
Okay, so I have been dying to talk about this, and I didn't know about it the last episode. I had sort of an inkling of it, but I didn't touch on it.
Okay.
Okay, so you know how we're watching Daisy Jones and the Six?
Yes.
Did you know that she has another book that is coming to screen on April 7th?
Other than
Daisy Jones and the Six?
The Seven Husbands of...
Yeah. Something totally different. Well, not totally different. It's still one of her books, obviously.
She has another thing coming.
One True Loves.
Oh, I heard about this.
Yep, it's a heartbreaking romance centered on the journey of Emma Blair, a woman whose marriage to her high school sweetheart in her 20s ended in tragedy when her husband mysteriously disappeared in a helicopter on their first wedding anniversary.
Okay.
Like, that's pretty crap luck. In her 30s, Emma picks up the pieces of her life and moves on, becoming engaged to her old friend, Sam. But then her husband is miraculously found alive and re-enters her life, just as she's started over. As Emma figures out what to do, Reed takes a bruising look at what it really means to love.
Oh my goodness.
I seen the trailer for this a while ago, and I did not even realize that it was a Taylor Jenkins Reid book.
So that's 3 books, three books that she has now.
Right now, there might be more.
Okay, she's killing it.
Yeah, Malibu Rising is apparently being done as well.
Okay. I've heard really good things about that one. I haven't read it yet.
No, me neither.
I have it checked out of the library.
Oh, do you?
To be right, I do.
Oh,
yeah.
So maybe we'll hear about that one next month.
Yeah. Oh. If I finish it.
Yeah. I'm so excited for that movie. It's April 7th.
That's coming up.
Yeah, that's really soon. Movie night.
Add it to the list. Okay.
I just really had to get that
said
and out there.
You were very excited about that. I was. Okay, now with the book news, I guess, out of the way. First up, we will talk about our books that we've read this past month.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you start the month off with?
I wonder if we both started off. Our first books might be in the similar variety.
Oh,
possibly, yeah. My first book, my first completed book of March was A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas.
Okay, side note, we don't talk about books anymore. We literally go our separate ways. We don't talk about any of the books that we're currently reading.
The 2 weeks between episodes are like harrowing. It's so difficult to not talk books.
We're so used to, like, whenever we see each other, we like at least briefly talk about what we're reading, but now it's just silent.
Now it's everything but books until the night of recording.
Yeah, we do not discuss books. Like, if we start on the conversation, we're like, shut up. We can't talk about it right now. So this is truly authentic.
I think we could do like full episodes on just like ACOTAR, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, we've touched on these books, I think, just about every episode so far. But it's fantasy romance. Court of Mist and Fury was a big boy. It was a big book. 624 pages. But not a single page felt like it dragged. So
that's the sweet spot.
Right? I rated it full 5 stars. I would have done higher if I could. If Goodreads would let me.
Let's just make our own rating.
Yes, well, 1 million.
Okay.
I loved it.
You said that this is your favorite of the whole series, right?
Well, I haven't read the whole series.
So so far.
So far, yes, and it's only book 2, Becky.
Oh.
Okay.
You've read... You started book 3.
Yeah, I'm currently reading book 3. So, but I really like it, and it is quite possibly like really high up my top 5 fantasy books of all time.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's up there.
So, when I read this, I felt like I was watching it.
I love those books when it's so descriptive where you can like play a movie in your head.
Yep. Yeah, like I can't give a very big full review on it because it's book 2 of a series, and I feel like any little thing could be a spoiler. Like, I read ACOTAR first and I thought, like, this is the pinnacle. This is where, you know, this series is going to be good. But like the first book is always that like the big doors swing open and like here I am. I thought rating that one 5 stars was like a big deal. But then the second book hit and I'm just like, man, I should not have rated that first book 5 stars because this book is just so good.
No way. I'm so excited to read that. Oh my god.
Chapter 54 and 55.
Noted.
Yeah.
I will write that down right now.
Yep. Yeah, like every word that she wrote, I just ate up.
Aquitar has made its way into my TikTok, but I keep scrolling as soon as I see anything.
You think the algorithm would pick up on that and be like, oh, she doesn't care about Aquitar.
Yeah. Or like, hey, let's give her a break. No. I keep seeing Reese come up and I just see the name and I'm like, scrolling so fast. I'm like, get out of here.
No spoilers.
Oh, like it just needs to stop until I at least get to book 2.
So you did finish Aquitar, right? Like that's...
Oh, yeah.
What did you think of it?
So that was my first one for this month.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. So we both started...
A good old fantasy.
Oh, yeah. Kick. So A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. So this is book 1 of the Aquitar series. Fantasy... 433 pages, which is like, if anybody knows, or if they're following along with us, that's pretty big for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like, way to make me sound stupid, but 400 pages is a lot. But I rated this 5, and I hate that I wasted so much time not reading Aquitar.
I know, I feel the same way.
I had this book in my Kindle since I first bought my Kindle, like, going on 2 years ago now. It's just been sitting there because I kept trying it and I would get to like maybe 20 pages in and I'd be like, you know what? First, Nesta.
Oh.
Didn't like her.
No.
And like, I hate that I let that push me away. But also, like I've talked about this before, like the world building, it was too much. I was very much into Colleen Hoover at the time and she's very, very easy, quick, fast paced.
But once you get past that, the first few chapters, I think it just opens up.
Oh my god. I fell in love. I'm not gonna like go over the plot again 'cause I'm pretty sure we've talked about this book.
I think
6 episodes.
Like, every episode. Yeah.
But I seen a post. It was from a bookstore and it had Aquitar, like the book there on the shelf, and then underneath it had like a little tagline.
Oh god.
And it said, an illiterate girl kills a wolf and then has to go live with the man playing a fiddle. So that basically sums it up right there.
Yeah, that's a pretty good summary.
Okay, I started like taking notes for Aquitar and like what I liked about it. I didn't get very far. I have 1 line written.
Oh my god.
How Tamlin writes her poems.
Oh, I figured that would tug on your heartstrings.
I love that.
They're so comical too.
Oh my god. Like phenomenal. I'm so glad that I finally read that book. Like, thank you for pushing me.
I think we can collectively thank Ilsa.
Yep. Thank you. Shout out to Ilsa. What did you read after that?
Oh, I had to go back and read another J.T. Geissinger.
Okay.
Ruthless Creatures.
Oh. I haven't heard of this one.
I know.
I mean, I've only ever heard of any books that you bring up, but I never heard you talk about this.
This one is a little bit different. It's not like the other books that we've read by her. I'll put it that way.
Okay. The only other 2 that I read, which was Midnight Valentine and Pen Pal, they both had very similar vibes, so I'm kind of glad that this one's different.
Yeah,
because like I don't want to automatically know what's going to happen when I go into another one of her books.
Right. That makes sense. Okay, so this is a dark romance. 380 pages.
Okay.
I rated it a 4. The only thing that stopped me from rating it a full 5 is how fast everything happened. It was really fast paced.
Yeah.
I love fast paced books. I like short books. Don't get me wrong.
But there's like a...
But yeah, it just felt like it was pushed really quick. I felt.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit of a slower burn would have been nice.
Yeah.
But she definitely did not disappoint with this book, though, I have to say. Spice was 10 out of 10. Like, it was good. So, basically, Nat's husband, he disappeared 5 years ago. No trace. Just poof, gone. She was left with the kind of scars that just can't be healed and a million unanswered questions.
Okay.
Until a mysterious stranger arrives in town. Cage is full of secrets He's tall, dark, and dangerous.
Of course.
And Nat is like a moth to a flame.
Oh,
Yeah.
we all.
Yeah. They just can't resist each other, constantly like crossing paths. And yeah,
I like that. So like that's still similar to her other books.
It is. Yeah, I think that is still on the same path.
Okay.
So she discovers that he is in town to collect a debt from her husband.
Oh. But he's gone.
The debt is her. He is there to collect her.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting.
Yes.
I would like to see how that would play out.
I knew it was going to be a good book. I mean,
it's her.
Yeah, exactly. It is a part of a series, so there are more books, and this one does end on a bit of a cliffhanger. What's your next one?
So my next one's actually a little bit different.
Oh?
I meant to talk about this last month. A Misty Door.
Oh,
the audio,
right.
yeah. So that's a Quinn original. So that's like an app.
Is it like subscription based?
It's subscription based. When it first came out, I only wanted to do the 7 free days. Forgot about it. I got charged for the month. So here I am.
Take advantage of it.
Yeah. It's fine. I'm kind of glad, and I mean it's only like, I think it was like $6 or $7 for the month.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
It's completely doable.
Yeah.
Honestly, worth it alone just for this audiobook. So it's romance, fantasy, erotica. So there's only 3 episodes posted so far. It doesn't seem like it's going weekly. I don't know if it's bi-weekly.
Okay.
I don't know what the pattern is here.
It's not finished?
I don't think so. It's very different. I went into this expecting something entirely different. For starters, Jesse Williams voices Solstice.
Oh, he has such a nice voice.
Okay, since Grey's Anatomy. Oh.
Okay, yep, I like that.
But instead of a doctor, he is a changeling who owns a bookstore.
Okay, I like that.
So like fae, changeling, like, you know, like the fairies, like I love that, especially now after reading ACOTAR. I'm like,
give me all the fairies.
I'm so into that now. Solstice is a changeling who owns a bookstore. As people come into his bookstore, he asks them what type of books they are looking for, in return getting people to open up to him. He's all about trying to help people be happy and be their true full self. Eventually, he meets a girl named Azra, who very much plays by the book. He tries to help her open up and find her true self, and in turn ends up falling in love with her.
Oh.
Yeah. I love the use of the Misty Door, because like he brings that up multiple times throughout the audiobook episodes, because he talks about how when we read a really good book or we experience love or just true happiness, it opens a misty door, and this is how humans turn into changelings. Okay. By letting yourself be truly, truly happy.
Oh.
So in another way to look at that is, you think about it, if a changeling experiences like heartbreak, they turn into human again. They lose their wings.
Oh.
Yeah. So like at the beginning of the episodes, like Solstice is like so happy-go-lucky, like he is like very full of love, and like he has so much energy, and it's so sweet. It's so cute. But it's so different because he is talking to you, the listener, but you, the listener, is Ezra. Right? So he'll be like, Ezra, like, you're so beautiful today. Like, you, blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah. So, like,
how does that feel? Like
it's weird. But, again, going back to it being erotica.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, I like this.
It scratches the itch on the inside of my ears. But it's also weird.
Yeah, I can see that, yeah.
I don't know how to explain it. Like, I gave this, so again, I've only listened to the 3 episodes. That's all that's up there right now. I'm stuck between like a 3.5 and a 4 for the rating. Just because it's a little bit weird. It's not as I expected it to be, like an actual novel.
So it's an experience.
It is. That is what I meant to bring up as well, actually, because there's noises. So, like, they're sitting in a cafe or in the bookstore, you can hear the door open. Okay, they're in a cafe, you can hear, like, the mugs.
So if you close your eyes while listening to it,
you're there. It's in a full-on experience.
So don't listen to it while you're driving.
I did.
Okay, well, you're still here, so...
I did. And I was driving, actually, to Ian's. This was when it first came on, and I took a picture of my when the first actual erotica scene came up, it's an experience. Yep. Between like a 3.5 to a 4. I still recommend listening to it.
One of these days I will get around to it.
So what was your next?
My next was Garnet Flats by Devney Perry. It's
another one.
Yeah, it's another one of the Edens. I don't remember what number. Number 3, I
Okay.
think. The genre is romance, naturally.
Of course.
Yep. 313 pages. I rated it 4.
Is that
It's really good? So this one's about Talia. She's one of the sisters. She loved Foster Madden for 1 year, 2 months, and 11 days. It was on day 438 that her love died. The day he chose to marry her best friend.
Ooh.
The day she vowed never to think of Foster again. Until years later, when he has the audacity to show up in her small hometown of Quincy, begging her for her help. The ink on his divorce papers is barely dry, yet he comes armed with apologies and promises. She knows it's all a ploy. Foster's the king of games and secrets, but he's got delusions the size of Montana if he thinks she'll help him train for a world championship fight. Except Talia has forgotten exactly what made Foster famous. The man has dedicated his life to victory. He's steadfast, he's determined, and he won't stop fighting until he's won her heart. So he's like an MMA fighter.
Okay.
Which is different for me because I don't think I've ever read a book that had the main male character as any sort of like UFC.
Mm-hmm.
I went into this book with my guard up because that description, I was like, oh, there's no way.
Yeah. Come on, goes.
Like, Talia? Like, what the shit?
Yeah. Yep.
Like, I was ready to fight him.
Get in the ring.
Yeah. I couldn't wrap my head around how he could just leave Talia like that for her best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what?
That's...
Like, that is so slimy.
Yep.
And I was ready to hate him. Like, I went into this book ready to hate Foster. But it didn't take long, and it sort of swapped a bit. There's still, I think, a lot of toxicity, like red flags, obviously, galore everywhere, all over Foster. I don't know, just something about how human it was and, like, how realistic it felt.
Yeah, I do like that, because, I mean, we're all just human. We do make mistakes.
Yeah.
So did he have a good reason?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I understood it.
Okay.
But it took a while.
Yeah.
So that was really, really good writing. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But definitely give it a chance. If you ever read any of Devney Perry's books, start with Juniper Hill because that's my favorite.
Yep.
This one was still good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know, I've heard you talk about them a lot, so
I
will have to add it to my TBR.
They're quick reads, so
I like a quick read.
What's your next one?
So...
Oh god, I think I know.
I can't believe, again, that I have wasted so much of my time not reading things that you suggest to me.
Finally!
You'd think
I
would
have
learn.
this recorded, so I have this as future proof.
Yes. You've talked about this literally on so many of our episodes, and it would just go over in my ear, out the other one. Right? Like, obviously I'd be interested, but I wouldn't actually take it seriously.
Yeah.
The Never King, the Vicious Lost Boys series by Nikki St. Crowe.
Oh, that's so good.
When I tell you that I could not put this down, I am not exaggerating. I started book 1, finished it in literally one sitting. I was at park for 4 hours.
Wow.
Finished it, went home, started book 2 before bed, woke up, finished book 2 immediately, and in the same sitting, the Kindle still in my hand, didn't even put it down, immediately went to book 3.
Nice.
Finished it in one sitting.
Yeah.
Next day, I started book 4. Okay, so The Never King, this is fantasy romance. I have found my new favorite genre.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Short read. This one was only 192 pages.
Yeah.
And that's what really did it, because I didn't realize how short they were. I mean, I knew that you said that what their length was before, but I just forgot. But as soon as I seen that, I was like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Time to go. I rated this a 5. Each one had such a big cliffhanger.
There was no way that you could wait in between books. I know.
No. I didn't even want to sleep that night. I could have just pulled an all-nighter and just read all of them.
Oh, I want to reread them.
So this is the Peter Pan retelling, if anybody doesn't remember or if anybody's new here.
Fairy tale retellings are my jam.
New favorite.
Yeah.
Yep. So the plot. The stories were all wrong. Hook was never the villain. For 2 centuries, all of the darling women have disappeared on their 18th birthday. Sometimes they are gone for only a day, some a week or a month. But they always return broken. Now, on the afternoon of my 18th birthday, my mother is running around the house making sure all of the windows are barred and the doors locked. but it's pointless, because when the night falls, he comes for me, and this time the Never King and the Lost Boys aren't willing to let me go. I remember you telling me how spicy these books were.
I'm pretty sure I've said they had me clutching my pearls. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even gonna start.
Scandalized.
Wow.
I know, the spice in those books were just
Out there.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a reason why it's called fantasy.
Yeah, because I don't understand how half that works, but but what I loved a lot was, like, aside from like the Peter Pan retelling, the Fae Boys.
Mm-hmm.
The Fae brothers.
Mhm.
I love how, like, after reading Akutar, I love how that's in that too.
Yep, the Fae princes.
I'm a Fae slut, apparently.
Yeah.
Anyway, next up was The Dark One, which is book 2 in that series. Rated out of 5.
Nice.
Of course, obviously.
Mhm.
That was 219 pages for that one. And then the third in that series was Their Vicious Darling, and that was 250 pages.
Mhm.
Also rated that a 5.
That one ended on a really bad cliffhanger.
Yes.
Yeah, especially knowing that I had to wait for that 4th book to release.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Because, like, I thought it ended, so you know how the end of the chapter ends?
Mhm.
Complete cliffhanger. But then it actually describes in the epilogue, talks about who it was that they seen.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
glad that actually did that, because when it ended, you don't know who this person is that just
Right.
showed up.
Yeah.
But then finally it says who it is. But, like, even still.
Yep, there's still a
What
big
a cliffhanger.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
That clues up my reads for the month, except for our featured read, obviously.
Mhm.
But what did you have to read next?
It was another one of my hockey smut books.
Oh, good lord. Here we go.
It was A Lie for a Lie by Helena Hunting. Romance, obviously.
Okay.
288 pages. I rated it a 3. This one's a rom-com.
Okay. Interesting.
It was well done, I think.
Did you giggle?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, there were parts that I actually laughed.
Okay.
It's about instant attraction, second chances, and not so little white lies. Like I said, hockey smut. Rook and Lainey meet while they're both on a trip to Alaska. She doesn't know that he's a famous NHL player, and he's thrilled with the prospect of having a normal trip, not being swooned over for being famous. So he tells a couple little white lies, says that his name is RJ instead of Rook, so that she can't really look him up, I guess.
Okay.
But
that's fine.
I mean, he's
just protecting him.
RJ is what his family calls him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really like a full-blown lie. It's not like he's saying that his name is Richard instead of Rook, right?
Exactly. That's fine.
After a whirlwind romance, Rook has to abruptly leave Alaska, and in the whole tizzy, doesn't leave a way for Lainey to contact him. Oh, that's really vague. But the way that he had to leave, it was like, it's not like he just,
see ya.
Toodles.
Yeah.
It was a pretty big, a lot of circumstances led to it that
Okay.
she didn't have a way of contacting him after all this is said and done.
And I mean, you can kind of fill that in.
So jump forward a year, and under the most bizarre circumstances, they meet again.
After a year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very, it was comical. That was one of the parts that I giggled over. So she's a little bit chilly towards him.
I mean,
yeah.
After a year, yes.
Yep. She has some pretty good reasons for it. But Rook is determined to rekindle what they once had. I did really, really enjoy this book. It felt like it was rushed. Felt like they could have expanded on things a bit more. And
how many pages did you say was
288.
The plot was too big for her to have such a short book.
Yeah. There were some parts that like really stuck out. One of the biggest tropes in it is the miscommunication thing, and everybody knows how I feel about that. Like that's usually the part that gets me. I think that's why I only rated it a 3, because I don't normally like that. But it was still pretty good. There wasn't a whole lot of like hockey-ness going on. like they were on a trip at like Alaska where he was basically it was an annual trip that he takes with his brother that they just go fishing. But this year his brother couldn't make it, so he spent the flight there with Lainey. Mm-hmm. And they happened to be like just down the road from one another in Alaska in this town that they were going to. So it was very circumstantial. But
so the only hockey related was just that he was a hockey player.
Yeah, and a little bit like towards the end. and a lot of talk about puck bunnies because
I've
that's
heard
what
of
he was.
these
Yeah, it's like groupies for hockey
for
players.
hockey players.
Yeah.
Okay.
He talks a lot about puck bunnies and how like he had like a bad stalker and stuff, so this was why he was afraid. So I understand him not wanting to, you know, go into that detail with her if she was blissfully ignorant to his infamy.
And especially if he just wanted a relaxing weekend with no attention.
Yeah.
100%. I do the same thing.
So
No.
I didn't really blame him for that at all, I don't think.
No.
But yeah.
We can excuse that.
My next read was finally Verity by Colleen Hoover.
I forgot about this.
I think we could spend a whole episode talking about just Verity. It's a mystery thriller, 336 pages, and I rated it a 5. There's no way I could rate it any less than a 5. This book, it had me in a rage. It had me crying. It had me terrified.
Yeah.
Like, to say I was, like, shitting myself is an understatement. I had no idea. Like, I mean, I've read a lot of books that have brought on fear or panic. Like, I've read books like that. This is one that done that to me. Like, I felt anxious reading it. I didn't know where it was going, and stomach sick at the thought
Events.
of what happened.
What was talked about. Yeah, I agree.
Oh, yeah.
For a Colleen Hoover book, this was entirely different. Like, I recommended this to a guy friend of mine, and he loved it.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not just, like, I know everyone thinks, like, oh, Colleen Hoover. Like, that's like just
Heart
for
Eyes
girls.
and,
like, yeah. Romance.
But no, this was
entirely different. Like, there's still romance in it.
Yeah. But it's not the main.
It is not the main subject. Like, like, I've talked about this too before. Like, when I was reading it myself, I was on the couch, terrified.
Yeah, that's right.
I was like, do I hear something out in the hallway right now? I am not getting up and going
standing
to bed.
at the top of the stairs. To say I, like, oh my god, like, I had clutched my chest at that part.
She did a very good job at branching out and trying a different type of book. Oh, good
This was something. Even the kid in it at the start when he's just there by her car window.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this is going to be a scary book.
The very first line talked about the tires going over a skull.
Yes.
And the sound of a skull breaking.
Yeah. I know.
Great first opener.
Yep, here we go.
All right, tell us the plot.
Okay. Lowen is a struggling writer on the brink of financial ruin. She accepts a job from Jeremy Crawford, husband of best-selling author Verity Crawford, to complete the remaining books in a successful series his injured wife is unable to finish. Long plot short, she finds an unfinished autobiography where Verity recollects the tragic events that lead up to her injury. Should Lowen keep these bone-chilling admissions to herself to save Jeremy the devastation? But on the other hand, her feelings are intensifying for Jeremy, and after all, if he reads these pages, there's no way he could continue to love his wife.
Oh my god.
I cannot stress it enough that if you have not read Verity, you need to. Like, it's an experience in itself.
And especially if you can get your hands on the new... Yeah, there's the new
edition, and I haven't read that.
Me neither. It has a whole new chapter in it.
Okay, so we need to do that.
Like, I've been waiting to reread that, but I'm waiting until I can get my hands on the new one so I can get that new chapter.
Yeah. Okay. So this was my worst read of the month.
Oh dear.
Toxic by Nicole Blanchard. Yeah. I was excited for this one. The description sounded so good, and it just it fell so flat. I only rated it a 2.
I know you said that, and I took it off of my TBR.
Yeah, it's not.
Goodbye.
And I hate being so negative about books, but honestly, I would have DNF'd it if I wasn't so stubborn.
I'm surprised you didn't DNF it, honestly.
Yeah. It was only 275 pages, so I figured I could push through and
see if at least turns around.
Well, yeah, that, and just to have it on my on my red list. It's a dark romance. It's about Tessa. She's a prison nurse. She's abused day in and day out by her husband, who is also the warden for the prison she works at. She meets John Doe, a new inmate. He's mysterious and makes her feel all sorts of things. Getting swept up in it all, she soon finds herself helping him escape. A lot happens in a short amount of time. It was an excellent idea, but it just didn't feel like it was well executed at all. The flow of the characters felt all wrong, and I swear she had like a full-blown personality transplant throughout this book.
Oh.
She went from the like timid, abused, quiet, mouse-like character to total 180. it just didn't feel like a natural progression of her character.
Like it was like jumped.
Yeah. Like all of a
Okay.
sudden, like she's helping this inmate escape, and I don't know. I just didn't. Ugh.
Yeah, not yours.
Nope.
Not your cup of tea.
Nope.
Side note, that sounds just like Prison Break. Also, season 6 Prison Break is coming out. How many times can they escape a prison? 6 apparently.
Oh my lord. I mean, not to go totally off kilter here or anything, but season 1 to 4 was deadly.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Just stop after that.
Yeah.
Yes, I love looking at him, but I don't need to see anymore. Especially now. 6 years is too long. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think the last book that we've got is our featured read.
The featured read.
Da, da, da.
We need to have an audio to play.
We'll get Maddie's keyboard in here. Or Audrey's puppy dog keyboard. And
puppy dog. That's Blue's Clues by. He's got a name.
How many kids do you need to have before you realize the name of dog characters?
Oh god, you'd think you'd have that engraved in your skull now, even just from me watching it growing up. Okay, so featured read Things We Hide from the Light by Lucy Score. This is the Knock 'em Out series number 2.
Knock 'em up, as Lena's
parents,
mother who called her that.
Knock 'em up, knock 'em out. So this is romance, 589 pages.
Way too big.
Let me just read the plot here before I give my input. I rated it a 4.
I think I gave it a 4, but I think I would change it to a 3.
Yeah. I want to say like a 3.3. Okay?
5.3.
I don't know. There's just something. I feel like 3 is too low and 4 is far too high.
That's what 3.5 is for.
But that still feels too high.
Okay, fair.
I feel like we've talked about this so many times, but I'm going to read the plot.
Yep, go for it.
Just for any newcomers. So Nash Morgan was always known as the good Morgan brother, with a smile and a wink for everyone. But now, this chief of police is recovering from being shot, and his southern charm has been overshadowed by panic attacks and nightmares. He feels like a broody shell of the man he once was. Nash isn't about to let anyone in his life know he's struggling. But his new next-door neighbor, smart and sexy Helena, sees his shadows. As a rule, she's not a fan of physical contact unless she initiates it, but for some reason Nash's touch is different. He feels it too. The physical connection between them is incendiary, grounding him and making her wonder if exploring it is worth the risk. So, this is the same plot, same book, same events, same outcome as the first one.
Yeah.
Yes, I somewhat enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good book.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Because yes, it still had the different perspectives. So it's from Nash and Lena's perspectives instead of Knox and Naomi. So I love that. Everything happened the exact same way. The exact same way.
Yeah, all the major plot points and stuff was, felt
everything.
like it was just rehashed from the first book.
Yes.
Yeah, I think if Nash had kept his personality from the first book, it would have felt a bit different, but he was just as broody and like Knox was.
Yeah, he was literally Knox.
Yeah.
Which,
it's
like,
not a bad.
Like, I know he went through a traumatic event. I know that that's going to change your personality, but he was literally just like Knox.
Yeah. And
I don't know.
We got like really good glimpses of him being back to himself.
Yes.
But I still felt like he had a, like, I don't know, it just didn't feel like Nash.
Yeah. It just didn't do it for me. We both struggled.
Yeah.
A lot to read
It took
this.
me so long to read it.
Yeah. It took you longer than me.
I just kept getting bored and putting it down and not wanting to get back to it. And I hated that because I love Lucy.
I know. Like, again, like, it was a very good book. Like, she was still very funny. Like, she had a lot of comedic relief in it.
I just feel like she could have lowered the page count down by like 200.
Oh my god.
Like,
Easily.
easy. and
Yep.
it still would have been a good book,
Mm-hmm.
just without a lot of the boring parts.
Like there was a lot that was just the exact same. Very much a slow burn.
Oh, the slowest. It wasn't until like page 300 and
373 was when the first thing happened. I took note.
Did you?
Yes. I like a slow burn to the point where it's like 200 pages.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I think 200 pages is like a nice sweet spot. I don't ever want to wait 373 pages ever again.
No.
That's a full book.
Yeah.
That I'm used to. There were some parts that I liked, like Lena's moment at the book retreat with her old high school friend. That was really
that
sweet.
was so sweet. It was.
That was really, really sweet. So like
she needed that. I think
Oh my
for
God,
her
yes.
character progression, she needed to hear that.
So like I feel like this book dealt a lot with like mental health and opening up and letting people in.
Yeah.
Right? So
Was so looking forward to this book and just felt super let down by it.
like if this was a novella, that would be nice because I love hearing about the other characters' point of views.
Mm-hmm.
I loved hearing from Nash's and Lena's stories.
Yeah.
I loved that. But we didn't need what happened in the last like 200 pages.
No.
They were only talking or dating for like a couple weeks.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Okay, we will go into further detail at the end of this episode like we've done before.
Mm.
But for anybody who's new, we discuss all spoiler-free things right now, which is what we're doing.
Trying to.
Trying.
Great
But then,
difficulty.
Yep. At the end of the episode, we will tell you when to get out. Then after like the credits, we will start again and it will be all spoilers. So we'll let you know. But anyway, if you actually want to hear what we're talking about, stick around. So I want to say rated a 3.5.
Yeah.
And some other people that we follow on Goodreads also rated it fairly low.
Yeah.
What did Ilsa rate it?
3.
Okay. Let's see now.
I'll read her review at the end of the episode.
Jess also rated it a 3.
I think the highest rating for my friends list would be Megan. She rated it 5. I would be interested to hear her review.
A 5.
Yeah, full 5 stars.
Anyway, we're not talking crap about Lucy's score. She's great. I love her writing. I love her comedy that she can put into her characters.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times where I laughed.
Did you find that like Knox was even grumpier in this book than he was in the first book? It was like everything he was saying was just, he just seemed like he was even more grumpy.
I don't think I got that vibe.
No?
No.
I did.
I think I was too focused, on Nash being the grumpy one this time. I don't know. I don't think so. No, I think in my brain, he was still the same.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know.
Maybe it's just me.
A couple of the highlights that made me laugh were Sweet Dolly Parton. Please don't let her say yes.
I highlighted
like
the
that.
same.
Yep. All right. Sweet Baby Cheeses.
Oh, yes.
With one quick tug, I was sprawled on top of him chest to chest, groin to groin. Holy hallelujah hotness. I like this one. No one really knows. He's like Chandler from Friends, Naomi said.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Yeah, well, he can go find his vitamin D someplace else, and so would I. Ha! Solid inner monologue dick joke. I like that.
I really like Lena's character. I really do. She was like
Very much badass.
Yeah.
Like she
sarcasm and just
she had a lot of
independence.
Yeah, so independent.
Yeah.
But she needed help.
Yeah.
She needed therapy
Oh, yes.
and to work on opening up to her friends. But she got there. She killed it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I could only go for a stupid walk in the stupid rain so my stupid eye water could mix with the stupid sky water. That may have been my, like, the funniest part of the book for me.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
She had a lot of character.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, like, it was so easy to see how much character she had. See, Lucy's score is really good. Like, writing her characters.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, again, I just could have done with a shorter book. That's literally it.
Yeah.
I think if the book was just a little bit shorter.
And just different outcome.
Yeah. I'm very much excited for the third book.
Okay.
Because I think that's going to go in a whole different way.
So the third book is based on, now, since Aquitar, I keep saying Lucian.
Yeah. I don't.
Lucian.
Yeah, Lucian or Lucian.
Yeah, I think his name is Lucian. I don't know.
Correct us if we're wrong.
Please do.
But yeah, Lucian and Sloane, and I think Sloane is like such an adorable character.
Yeah, that book is gonna be really good
Yeah.
because also Lucian, his character is very.
It's like he's so well kept together and so high strung that you know he is going to just shatter in this book.
Yeah. What is their background?
I know.
What is their story? We want to know. I think that's like September. I don't know. I could be completely
September
wrong.
5th, I think, is the date for that.
Can't wait. Yeah. Do you have anything else to say about featured read until after?
No, I think we're good until our spoiler filled.
So stay tuned if you want to hear some spoilers.
So out of the authors of this month, who did you enjoy the most?
So I've only read one book by Sarah J. Maas, so I can't say her as much as I enjoyed that book. I've read 3 now of Nikki St. Crowe.
Mm-hmm.
So 1000% her.
Yeah.
I love her writing and her descriptions. She goes into some great detail.
Yeah.
That girl.
Some very nice detail.
What about you?
I guess for me, I'm going to have to pick Sarah J. Maas because this is 2 books now that...
And I mean, you're on to book 3.
3, yeah.
Yeah.
We need to read a lot more fairy tale retellings. So if anybody has any recommendations what your favorite fairy tale retelling is,
please
let
give
us
it
know.
to us.
Spicy is nice, but I guess we could do without if we have to. if the plot is there.
Yeah, it just needs to have a good plot, that's all. Yeah, I'm very much into that now. I want to read more.
Then more we shall. I think that's pretty well it for this episode, I think.
I think that sums it up. Yep. It's been a good month on the books.
Yeah, I think we did pretty good.
Yep.
Considering the last 2 weeks of the month, I was really struggling through Things We Hide from the Light.
Yep. We put everything on hold for that book. Yeah.
It literally dragged and I lost all ambition to read other books. I think honestly, if we weren't doing it for a featured read, I would have put it on pause.
Or a DNF.
Yeah, I don't know if I could have done a DNF. I don't think I would have done a full-fledged DNF.
I mean, and that's the thing. We didn't know where it was going at the time.
Yeah.
Try not to really down it.
I know.
But oh my god, it was so hard to get through.
But we love Lucy.
Yeah. We will be posting our next featured read tomorrow. So if you don't follow us on Instagram, give us a follow because that's mainly where we're going to be promoting our featured reads and other content.
Challenges and things that we were doing, like bingo sheets and stuff like that. Lots of fun.
Got lots of stuff marked off on my bingo sheet.
Yeah? I haven't checked mine, so...
I don't have bingo yet, but I'm getting there. So yeah, our Instagram is my sisters TBR, all lowercase.
No spaces.
Give us a follow. If there's any types of books that you want to hear us talk about, give us a message, give us a comment on one of our posts. So yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for joining us.
We will see you after the credits, hopefully.
Yeah. Stick around.
Toodles.
Bye. Welcome back. Now we will discuss spoilers of Things We Hide from the Light by Lucy Score.
Do you keep hesitating before saying that because you're
used to saying Things We Never Got Over?
Yep.
100%.
It's been a struggle.
Yeah, they're so similar. Honest opinion now. What do you think of the book?
I liked Nash a lot more in the first book than in the second book. It's understandable. I get it.
Yeah. But
I felt like he just wasn't the same character, and I didn't feel quite as invested.
Yeah, I agree. I know we don't understand what it's like to go through a traumatic event like that. Yeah. So, obviously his personality is going to change. Yeah. But, I don't know. He was he just sounded too much like Knox for me.
He was whiny.
Yeah.
Very whiny.
Yeah, and what I don't like is at the beginning how he got on about Lena and constantly blaming her, saying like, "Oh, you only got close to me for you to try to find like."
Oh, I was so
like,
mad at him for that.
He acted so childish about Lena's job.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, like saying that she was like lying to him and everything, and
she didn't lie.
it wasn't a lot.
Like I think I think he overreacted completely about Lena looking for Duncan. She didn't play him.
Mm-hmm.
He kept saying like, "Oh yeah, you played me.
Yeah,
you lied to me."
And even everybody, like the fact that Naomi and Sloane still showed up at her apartment and like stopped her from packing up everything, and Lena was like so convinced that they should be mad at her too.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no,
that's
like
because
they're real friends.
They're real friends, and she was just doing her job.
Yeah. Yeah, any adult understands that, and
Yeah.
a cop should understand that.
Yes, confidentiality.
Yeah.
Like, she could not talk about it. It doesn't matter if you're getting involved with this person. For one, they were only talking for a couple days. Oh, I hated it. That was big red flags for me. I would walk out the door, see a Nash. No, thank you. Yeah, I don't know. That was enough for me, honestly, right there. But let's backtrack a little bit. So, yes, this was a very slow burn, which, like, annoyed me. Because I'm like, I need some spice to keep me going.
Yeah.
There was just little tiny breadcrumbs.
Mm-hmm.
I liked this. When Lena first moved into her apartment, which is next door to Nash.
Do I have the same thing
Probably,
highlighted?
yes. When he was touching himself in the shower, and Lena could hear it through the wall. And she says, "I'd never stood at a sink brushing my teeth for that long in my life."
Yep.
That made me laugh.
Yeah. What an opportunity for Nolan across the hall, like when he moved in after.
Oh,
when he was staying there. What an opportunity for him to bring up something about, God, like the walls are so thin.
Yeah.
And for there to be that recognition that Lena heard him, like that just would have brought a nice little circle to it.
Yeah.
And
missed opportunity there. That would have been a very nice comedic relief.
Yep.
For him, like, even just to, like, describe, like, his facial features of when he, like, it dawned on him and been like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
Because, like, he was vocal.
Yep.
When he was doing the nasty. Yep, I like that part.
Another part that I had highlighted. Exactly how much of me do you want? Those blue eyes changed to icy fire. The gentlemanly answer would be as much as you're willing to give. And you're a gentleman? I used to be. Then he lifted his chin. Oh. Like, I thought that was a pretty... Yeah,
like, there was breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
I like some breadcrumbs.
Mm-hmm.
I need the breadcrumbs.
I don't like it being too fast, but I don't like it being this slow.
This 374 pages before... Technically, it was 373 pages until a kiss.
Right.
For a kiss.
Yeah.
And then 374 pages until an actual sex scene happens. That's too long for me.
Yep.
But that chapter, that was spicy.
Yeah, she did really well writing that.
Yeah. And then Nash having to go back and
repair it.
and repair the wall that the table was being pushed up against.
Was just like, Yeah.
But in a library. Okay.
Yeah. Lucy certainly knows her audience.
Yep. She nailed that one on the head. But another what?
Hit that nail on the head?
That one on the head. I don't know my words, okay? You know what I read for a living.
Good point.
Nothing of substance. Okay, but besides all that, the sexy parts, the whole reason of Knox and Nash being in such a big fight for so long was because Knox wanted Nash to retire. That wasn't talked about in the first book. It was just, we thought that Knox was pushing money on Nash, and Nash didn't like that, right? I'm pretty sure that's all we knew.
Yeah, I think so.
But then Nash says after that Knox was like forcing him to retire.
Yeah. Maybe it was one of those things that we should have picked up on that.
Yeah.
But
I didn't pick up on that. No. So, like, I kind of get it. Like, Nash didn't want to retire. And the way Nash took that was because of him wanting to go in and be a cop. Like, Knox didn't want him to be a cop, I guess, to, like, continue their
escapades.
Yeah. Like, that was kind of interesting to get more clarification on.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like we got a lot more from all of their backgrounds
Mhm.
with this book.
Well, that's the thing. That's why I love even to have multiple books with different point of views. Doesn't matter how small they are. Okay. There was a part that I really liked at the end of the book, though. When Naomi and Knox were getting married. And Naomi, like, Justice was the one who was marrying them.
Yep.
And she said,
oh,
yeah.
Yep.
Naomi looked up at Justice, who was brushing away a tear or two of his own, and grinned. Then she says, I always knew I'd get you to marry me somehow, Justice. That was so sweet.
It was a really nice callback to the first novel.
Yeah.
I cried reading their wedding, like that chapter.
Yeah.
Those.
Okay.
Mainly, I think the part where Knox sees Waylay coming down.
Yeah, and he like, yeah. Oh my. Yeah, that brought. Yeah.
Yeah.
That gave me like the goosebumps, and
oh, it was so sweet.
It was very nice, like seeing his transition from being that cold shoulder, an asshole in the first book, then to seeing him like completely take Waylay as his own.
Yeah, and multiple times throughout the book, she was referenced as his daughter.
Yeah, like that's so
sweet.
sweet. Like that just goes to show that like time doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah,
that's love right there.
Yeah,
that was really nice.
I love how we were still getting a lot of Knox and Naomi.
Yeah,
for this book. That was one of my biggest hopes for this book, was
to still see them.
Yeah,
and especially from Nash's and Lena's point of view. So it's
interesting.
Like, yeah, it's a whole different side of them that we're seeing.
Yeah. I also found it interesting that they brought in Nolan, the FBI, because they went into a lot of detail with him, or Lucy went into a lot of detail with him. Like, he was feeling like a
main character. Yeah.
I thought, as I was reading it, she was setting him up to be in a love triangle with Lucy and Sloane for the third book.
Yeah.
But then at the end of this book, he seems to be
making
amends with his wife.
Yeah.
So now I was like, it kind of felt like he wasn't really a necessary character. He was going on dates with Sloane and stuff. Like, I really thought that was being set up. And maybe it will still be a part of the next book.
But maybe, like, his wife, like, if they get back together, maybe they'll end up moving to knock him out. And like be a major part of their friend group.
Lucy like offered him a job. Like, he starts working for her.
That's true. So I'm sure we'll see
maybe
him again.
Maybe he will be.
Yeah.
I thought that would be a pretty cool. I'm not usually one for love triangles, but I don't know, just something about seeing Lucy and
riled up.
Oh yeah.
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 Territorial.
Oh, I can't wait.
Then I also the very end, like in the acknowledgments at the end of the book, Lucy Score says, P.S. Lucian's book, ? Asterisk. Wipes sweat from forehead. Another asterisk. Shoves computer into freezer to keep it from overheating. Yeah. So this is going to be a good book.
Yeah.
Anybody who has read these two books, we know what to expect now. Like, that describes that perfect, because Lucian is like, he's crazy.
Yeah.
He is like, he's just bundled up in a rock outer layer.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to just...
He keeps...
mine my way through it.
He seems so together. To see him with Sloane, then he is ready to just
completely
combust.
Yeah, completely explode.
I'm really looking forward to that. But like, I know it's gonna happen.
You know that there's a reason.
Yeah.
Why he's so in
control.
Quotations in control. I mean, he is in control, but like, it's to the point where it's like in not a good way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he is so on edge. Like, he jumps down Nash's throat.
And how he only has one cigarette a day.
Yeah. So like, what's the reason behind that? There's a lot of backstory between him and Sloane that I literally cannot wait to get.
Yeah.
I just really hope that it doesn't end the exact same freaking way as the first two, or as these two books.
Well, hopefully she's after taking some constructive criticism from the first two books for this third one.
If they get married, if they get engaged as well, I'm done.
They probably will. I mean,
I would expect it from them, because they have a lot of history. They've went to school together. They fooled around in high school. That's fine. But I just don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it happen again.
You might feel different about it by the time September rolls around.
But that's 3 engagements. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't think it really fit with Nash and Lena.
No.
I don't think that
no.
Lucy could have kept that for an epilogue to have them get engaged.
Yep, 100%. But like,
yeah, it was just way too much like the first book.
Yeah,
with Knox being like, "Oh, I'm going to marry you."
Yes, like, and I got that. Like, Naomi got kidnapped. then okay, marry me.
Yeah.
Yes, Lena also got kidnapped. But, like, you don't need to pull a Knox and propose to her, too. Like, you were only dating for, like, 2 weeks.
It felt more natural for Knox and Naomi than it did
Yes.
for Nash and Lena.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like he's like, oh, hey, my brother did this. I guess it's fine for me to do it, too. I don't know. It just annoyed me. But anyway, so the ratings. There's a lot of 3s.
Mm-hmm.
So we know Ilsa also rated it a 3.
Yeah.
So what was her thoughts on that?
She said, if I didn't read the first book, I don't know if I would have made it through. The first half of the book was so slow-paced, I struggled. But I did push through, and even though it did get much better, it still left me annoyed. A little bit of mystery kept me intrigued, and there were a few swoon moments along with some good spice. I do think I preferred both main characters in the first book over the second. I felt the same way.
Yep, agreed.
There were some massive cringy moments.
Yep.
The author knows how to make middle-aged men act like horny teens. I had a bit of the same issue in the first book with the tantrums and childlike behavior, but Nash just didn't come through for me like Knox.
Yeah.
I did highlight one thing, and it's when Lucien, rubbing his temples, and says you barely know her, which was my thought through most of the book. I found I was more interested in the side characters than the main ones, and keeping my fingers crossed for Lucien's book.
Okay, yeah.
She said I was tiptoeing between 2 and 3 stars, but the little bits of Lucien nuggets pushed it up. I think she's a Lucien girly.
Yep. She's really gonna like the third book, I'd say.
I hope, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So who did you hear from,
From my friend Jess. Yeah, so Jess rated it a 3, and she just said, I feel like the first book was so good, it was hard to make this one as good.
Mm-hmm.
I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
Especially when you just take a copy of the first book.
You're so butthurt over this.
I am. It's just annoying. Like, I spent so many pages.
Yeah.
So much time on these pages.
Mm-hmm.
Just for it to turn out the exact same way.
Yeah, I get that.
Anyway, it's just my opinion. But yeah, not great reviews.
No.
But it was a good book. Like, I hate that we're only speaking negatively about it. But it was good. It was fine.
It was still a good book, yes. I think that's
yeah, we're gonna end it there. Keep an eye out tomorrow for our posting for our next featured read to be discussed at the end of next month.
Well, thank you for sticking around for our spoiler-filled section.
Woohoo! All right, it's been fun.
Toodles.
Goodbye.